Hi there, this is Leslie again, and I'm going to talk now about the second thing to do when starting a response to literature essay, or really any kind of essay. So in the first video, we talked about the very first thing to do being to write your thesis sentence, okay? Um, and we talked about a way to actually develop that thesis sentence. We talked about how we could make it a little less advanced, a little bit more advanced, but still answering the question either way. And now we're going to talk about the second thing to do when your teacher assigns you an essay. So you sat down at your desk, you wrote your thesis sentence, and now what? Well, this is the second part of prep. And after you do this prep, you'll be ready to get started working on your first draft, okay? But I at least want to give you a way to kind of get ready so that when you're writing your first draft, you are working from a lot of good information that's going to make sense. And that to me is the point of an outline. So I don't do a terribly detailed outline. Actually, my outlines are really, really short. Um, so I consider the thesis sentence to be kind of like part one of my outline, and we already have that. So let's put this here. We're going to use a longer version of it, okay? And then the second thing you do, and I'm actually going to make this font a little bit bigger. The second thing we do is we write our first supporting, so let's just say the second thing you do is you write an outline, okay? But it's really short, so we write our first supporting, let's see, paragraph, topic sentence, okay? So our topic sentence kind of gets us focused and is going to be the focus of the rest of the paragraph, right? So our topic sentence, every topic sentence always starts with a transition statement of some sort to let us know we're moving in. And you'll learn formal writing is so much about, introducing ideas. We don't want to be abrupt with anything. So we want to say, hey, this is what we're going to talk about now. We're not talking about the introduction anymore. Now we're going to talk about just this one thing here. So we're going to say the first way. It could be the first way, the first reason, the first whatever, right? This is the most basic transition statement you can use, and I like to start with this for students who don't have a lot of experience writing essays, who are just learning proper structure for the first time. And no, this is not the only way to teach essay writing, but I know it's a way that definitely works. So we're going to say, in this case, we're going to say the first reason, and then watch what we do. This is why writing the thesis sentence is so important to do that first. We're just going to pull this from here. And notice we pulled, to write our thesis sentence, right? We referred to the question, right? That's where we got our answer from, right? We use language from the thesis sentence to get our answer, our thesis. And now we're again referring to our thesis. So you see how everything kind of builds? So I just want you to notice that. Now, again, this is a really basic way of doing it, but we're just learning, so it's fine. So now let's make this into a sentence. That's actually a sentence. Is because he allows his children, and we can decapitalize that, because he allows his children to learn experientially. Now, I like to know what example I'm going to use before I start writing. So I know that in my mind, it's I believe her name is Miss Maud in the book. If I'm wrong, don't shoot me. But I think this is right. So I think her name is Miss Maud. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. And what does Atticus do in the story? Even when anytime you have to organize your thoughts, it can take a minute, even when you're a really experienced writer. So, but he does something with Jem. He lets, Jem has to take care of her. Jem has to take care of her. And what Atticus does is, he doesn't really tell Jem what's going on. He just makes him keep going. But I'm going to say that Atticus lets Jem learn for himself, right? What does he let him learn for himself? Well, when Miss Maud dies, that's when he realizes, what she's been dealing with, the sickness that she's been dealing with. So I'm saying he lets him learn for himself what courage can look like. And so I love that he lets him learn that way, right? this is what I'm going to talk about within the paragraph, but I'm not going to write it right now. Okay. I just want to know where I'm going before I start writing my draft. So the next thing we write is our second supporting paragraph, topic, sentence. And, when I'm working with a high school student or a college student, I may even start this basic with them if they are really struggling with essay structure. But, of course, you can transition to more difficult and more sophisticated ways of writing this. But sometimes even when I'm writing something I have to write now, it's just, if you start with the basics, you can always upgrade later. You can always upgrade by the second, third, fourth draft if you want to. But keep your life simple in the beginning. It makes the whole process go much more smoothly. Because what you want to do now is just get volume. You just want to get a lot of words on the page that makes sense, okay? So if it makes it easier for you to keep your language simple and keep your transition simple for now, do that. I know that's what works for me, okay? So I'm going to say the second reason Atticus Finch is because of this, okay? So when does he do this in the work? Well, I think it's during the Tom Robinson trial, because Atticus knows before he takes the case that he will lose it. But he takes the case because he knows it's the morally correct thing to do. Okay, so I know what the example I'm using, I know where I'm going. Cool. All right. And then the last thing we do or at least that I do, is I write my third supporting paragraph, topic, sentence, and let's say the third reason, or we could say, if you want to, final reason, Atticus Finch. Notice one thing, formal essay writing is very repetitive. You repeat the same ideas over, you reiterate the same ideas over and over and over again. And that kind of is a comforting thing to know, okay, this is going to be repetitive in some ways. Not where you're repeating the same phrases over and over again necessarily by the time you're at your final draft, but you will be repeating the same ideas, which that's just the nature of formal essay writing to some degree. Okay, so in this case, Atticus shoots a rabid dog, risks his own life to save his, I don't know if I wanted to say save his children, if I want to say save the community. I have to go look back at the work to see, I have to look back at that scene to see how many people were really involved from the dog. Okay. Also, remember how he doesn't like guns. So I could also say, or maybe I'll use both of them. Maybe I'll just use one. Atticus doesn't like guns, but uses one to save his children / community. I'm probably just going to go with the first idea just because that's a really, really clear-cut example of him doing this thing. You have to make sure your examples fit what your arguments are, what your support is for your argument. So if we're saying he puts himself in danger, well, it's not really putting himself in danger if he doesn't like guns, is it? So I'm actually going to take that out now. Save myself some trouble and thought and energy down the line. So this, when he puts himself in danger, he does risk his own life to save it. Yeah, he does risk his own life. So when he, stands in front of the dog and everything. So, yeah, so this is how I get started. And from here, I am ready to start my first draft. So I want to share with you how I um, do an outline. This is actually what I do with students, you know, and it looks different for every student to some degree. It looks different with every assignment to some degree. It's what I do with myself when I have to write something. Um, but I don't believe in a whole bunch of outlining. I believe in knowing where you want to go and then getting started. So I hope that this was helpful to you. And if you have any questions, or if you have a topic that you'd like me to talk about, or if you have an essay that you're working on and you want some help, if you have something coming up, and you'd like me to do a video about it, let me know. Here is where I am. If I can write it down. And just shoot me an email, and I'm happy to help. Take care.